Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 77 of Good Morning Xbox. I'm NewfNukem, and welcoming to the panel again this morning is a fantastic group of people that likes to hang out with me every week. Well, at least they pretend to. And we've got a good show lined up for you. But before we get into all the topics and everything else, let's bring aboard the panel, starting with the magnificent one, CoolcatTerri.
Good morning, everybody. We got a great show. It's going to be fun. So sit down, relax, and let's get to it. Let's have some fun.
Absolutely. Next up, we got Mr. Cellblock22 himself ready to go this morning. Eternal SHADDAI.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Xbox. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday.
Starting out pretty good. And it's always a good day when Axel gets up and is ready to go, sporting his Xbox hat as usual and a fantastic looking Halo mug. Here he is, Axel, 1324.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, it's time to get the weekly news started, Noof. Let's go.
Let's go. And everybody's favorite sniper extraordinaire, Scrubner's in the building.
I'm not only a sniper, I also run a gun. Good morning, everybody. Let's get to these topics. We got these nominees. Let's see who wins. And I swear to God, if Fortnite wins multiplayer of the year, I quit this show.
Come on,
you heard
guys.
it right here, guys. This could be Scrubner's final show here. And welcome him back to the panel. He is rolling in style. Yes, he's up and ready to go. CerebralPaul's in the building.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and a couple of things. First, let me just say that some of us don't really want to hang out with you in the morning. We're just here. So, no.
I figured as much.
Yeah, well, And also, I am also wearing an Xbox hat, but mine has a green bill, and I use a green screen, so if I turn it around, the hat kind of disappears, so I am wearing my Xbox gear, so there you go.
I don't know, but I don't see nothing green. I only see red and black.
Well, again, if I turn my hat around, you do understand how green screens work, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do.
Okay, well, the entire panel is looking fantastic and sounding like $1 million this morning. So we got a good show for you. It's kind of come a trend in the podcast scene over the last little while, and that is people doing their own award shows. And it was kind of proposed here as well. And I thought, sure, it's a great idea, because we're going to have a little bit of a different list than obviously the industry would possibly have. There's going to be some favorites in there as well. And this show in particular is based around Xbox. Since it is Good Morning Xbox, and we try to stay away from competing platforms, our awards will go out to, or nominees and awards go out to, again, games that are only available through an Xbox platform or service, hence on the Xbox consoles, your PC, or over cloud. So you won't see games like God of War, Ragnarok, or anything else here nominated today. So sorry to those of you who go, what's going on? That game got robbed. No, we're just here having a bit of fun. And it was really fun compiling all the interesting votes and nominees. And once we kind of wrap this up, we'll kind of give just our quick takes on, again, some of the ones that stood out to us this year, and perhaps there might be the odd surprise in here as well. So, but again, how this worked, we have a panel of 6 people here. So some of the votes got a little bit difficult because they were almost like neck and neck, but there were some that were obviously runaways. And again, so we each had a pick. We threw our nominees in, and if there were duplicate nominees, we had to minus them out. So that's why some of the categories only have, say, like 3 or 2 or 3 kind of nominees, because some of us picked the same one. And then basically then we'd have to vote for one of the other panel's winners. So that kind of made it fair. But in a case that if we had 6 people on the panel and say 3 people already voted for the same game, it was okay then to vote for your pick if it happened to be the same as the rest, because it wouldn't tip the scales at that point. It's going to be an unanimous call. So there we go. Let's catch up with the chat here real quick before we get right into it. And we've got, as always, some of our favorites in the community are here and ready to go. Emmanuel A1 is the first guy in the chat. Then we had your Wicked Hot hanging out with us this morning. Doggy Dog 420 is always in the building. Good to see you, Doggy Dog.
Okay, but wait a second. Wait. But Doggy wasn't first. Doggy, you slept in this morning. Okay,
No, he wasn't.
You're slipping. You're slipping. You're slipping.
Slipping, guys. All right.
right.
We got Fastback. OLG is in the building. What's going on, brother? Fastback. HTK 360. Peter, what's going on? Good to see you here as well. And Crispy Rambo is in the building. Good to see you. Great cast already ready to go for this morning. And we do have our first super chat of the morning. And Axel can do the honors as he normally does. Axel or Scrub. We'll go with this one to Axel.
Doggy Dog drops $1.99 saying happy Sunday, Noof panel and chat.
Indeed. Happy Sunday it is. It's going to be a good one. All right, so let's go. It's the Good Morning Xbox first ever 2022 Game Awards. And let's start with the nominees right after we read this one more super chat because it does come in courtesy of Emmanuel A1. Let's let Scrub read this one out. Scrub, you take the honors.
This is from Emmanuel A1 for $10 super chat. Says, Happy New Year. Good morning, Xbox. Love to see y'all doing this award show. I've got my fingers crossed for Grounded to win Game of the Year.
Tall order right there, my friend. But
yes,
great pick all the same. Great pick. General Spartan, what's happening, brother? Here you go. So I'm going to bring up on here we go, the list of nominees, and I will do the honors for reading this out just to speed things up and make sure everybody stays on the same page. So we're going to start off with this one. The nominees for most anticipated game of 2023 come down to Skull and Bones, Starfield, and Judas. Welcoming to the stage to read out our winner, Axel 1324.
Thank you so much, Noof. And the winner is Starfield by Bethesda and published by Xbox. And yeah, how could you not be hyped for Starfield? It is definitely my most anticipated game. Thank God my pick won on this one. Good choice, panel.
There you go. All right, so next up we've got the nominees for Best Game Pass title: As Dusk Falls, High on Life, Warhammer 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Eternal SHADDAI, welcoming to the stage.
Thank you, thank you. And the winner is High on Life.
Very well done. Did you literally open an envelope there?
Yeah.
Yes, I actually did.
That was cool. I could hear it.
It's probably pink and perfumed. He probably got it from his cellmate.
He's
Just to make a point right here.
He's giving himself paper cuts in there, right?
It's called Stench Away.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kind of funny that most anticipated, like Terry picked Skull and Bones, and nothing wrong with her pick, but and then you see the news the other day that it got slipped again. So we might have a chance to chat about that a little bit later on in the show because some interesting comments from Yves Guillemot, the president or whatever of Ubisoft lately. So, but anyway, let's move right along, shall we? All right, here we go. The nominees for the best ongoing game: Among Us, The Crew 2, Fortnite, Forza Horizon 5, and Grounded. Welcoming to the stage, CerebralPaul.
This stage isn't ADA compliant. Give me a second. Okay. The winner is Fortnite. Yay. Actually, with my choice because they've done a lot this year. Actually, they've upgraded the graphics. It looks great. Really, check it out if you haven't.
I was playing it last night. Can't disagree. It's a fun little romp, to be honest.
I'm very surprised Noof started playing that after what, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah. Well, the no build mode certainly went a long ways to help me test it out. And then when my buddy just kept playing it non-stop, and he's normally like not a shooter guy, he's like a sports guy, hardcore, and he's like, "You got to come try this." I said, "Yeah, you know what? Frig it. I'm going to try it out." Sitting in bed one night, I'm sitting on the Switch. I said, "Frig it. I'm going to give this a go." Got in, played it, had 5 straight victory royales. It's probably because I was a low rank or I got put up against bots. I don't know, but either which way, I was like, "Oh, well, I'm doing pretty good at this one." So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get, this is the one. Well, I was going to find out if Scrub's going to have to leave the panel or not today. Here we go. The nominees for multiplayer game of the year: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, Rainbow Six Extraction, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Halo Infinite, and Fortnite. Welcoming to the stage, Scrub Nurse.
And of course, I'm the one here to present it. So, the best multiplayer game is, well, I'm presenting it. You know what it is. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 by Infinity Ward, published by Activision. The correct answer. Good job, guys.
Man, I took Rainbow Six.
That was a close one. There was a few that went for Fortnite on that one, so...
Noob, you should have messed with him and put Fortnite in his thing.
Worried.
You should have
I was
messed
very
with him.
worried.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Scrubs, I'm done. I'm out. Oh, great stuff. All right. The nominees for RPG of the Year. We've got Elden Ring, Steel Rising, Cyberpunk 2077, the next gen edition or upgrade, Pentiment, and Gotham Knights. And welcoming back to the stage, Axel1324.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Noof. And you know who the winner is, guy? That's right. You got to go to the lands between. Play yourself some Elden Ring. It's the best game ever made. Just, it's a great RPG. Don't miss out on it, guys.
Okay, it's rigged. I'm telling you, it's rigged. I want a recount.
That was a category where we had a lot of different picks in there, so that was a tough one, actually. All right, next up, we got the nominees for Indie Game of the Year: Vampire Survivors, Steel Rising, and As Dusk Falls. As you can see there, we only have 3 nominees in that category, which meant that multiple people picked the same game. And reading out our winner for this time, up to the stage, CoolcatTerri.
All right. And the winner is, by a popular demand, As Dusk Falls by Interior Night and published by Xbox Game Studios. Woo!
Congratulations.
Yes!
Fantastic title. All right.
Very good
This
game.
is one of the hottest
It's a really good game.
contested votes of the night. We have multiple nominees here, but as the votes came down, it was almost just about split, pretty close. The nominees for Sports Game of the Year. We've got Windjammers 2, NHL 23, Shredders, FIFA 23, and PGA Golf 2K 23. Back to the stage to read it out, Mr. Axel1324.
Thank you so much, Noof. And you know what? The check just cleared. It is definitely FIFA 23 that just won this category. Thank you so much, FIFA, for the bribes. Thank you.
It was definitely rigged. Definitely rigged.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seriously. I mean, wow.
Yes. Congratulations to FIFA 23 by EA Sports Vancouver. All right.
Especially considering that none of us played it. Okay, I mean, you know.
Check in the mail.
Hey, the
All
check
right.
cleared. I played this for 60 hours. What are you talking about?
Hopefully our panel this year is going to, and maybe we'll talk about this after we get through the nominees, but anyway, the nominees for the Racing Game of the Year, and we only have 2 that were in major contention here. We got Need for Speed Unbound and Forza Horizon 5, the Hot Wheels expansion. And welcoming back to the stage is a car aficionado herself, CoolcatTerri.
Yes. And the winner is the one and only Need for Speed Unbound. All right, by EA. You silly. Woo!
Okay, I'm definitely I'm putting a filing in at the court. I'm telling you.
I mean,
Go back to the
FTC.
FTC.
This year. It came out this year.
And we are
Forza
now
Horizon
down to
DLC.
the final 3 categories. All right. We got our nominees for the third-party game of the year. Steel Rising, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, and The Devil in Me. And welcoming back to the stage is Scrub Nurse.
All right, drum roll, please. The winner is
And it sucks.
Plague Tale Requiem by Team Asobo, published by Focus Entertainment. Please go check that game out. It's very fun and entertaining. But that was a rough one. There was a lot of good choices for this one.
There sure was.
And Elden Ring did not win.
Thank God. Thank God. Okay.
What a low blow.
Tightly contested. Yes, tightly contested. One of our toughest contested categories of the eating was definitely that one. All right, we're down to one that was a unanimous, one of our very few that all across the board, and maybe that's a testament to the strength of the studio, or perhaps it was a little bit of a slow year, but either which way, the nominees for the Xbox Studio of the Year. We've got Playground Games and Obsidian Entertainment. Eternal Shaddai, you can do the honors.
And the winner is, and I kind of figured this was going to happen, Obsidian Entertainment. That is true. Yes. That's actually true.
Living under a rock, Obsidian obviously finished off and now has the sort of finalized version of Grounded, which is, obviously improved and taken on a life of itself over the course of the last year or so. And they came out with a little gem of a title called Pentiment just before the year closed, which Eternal Shaddai is a massive fan of. So there you go.
Love it.
All right. And Paul gets the main honors to do the last one here. The nominees for the Xbox Game of the Year: Elden Ring, Steel Rising, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Cyberpunk 2077, the Next Gen Edition, Pentiment, and A Plague's Tale Requiem. Welcoming back to the stage when his wheelchair clears that ramp, CerebralPaul.
Hey. Oh my goodness. Thank God. So the winner is Plague's Tale Requiem by Asobo Studio.
That's funny. Just as he starts reading Enemy to Catch That, he started botting.
Yes.
Yeah, he started.
I literally thought like his wheelchair cleared the ramp, but he left the mic back there.
I'm up on top of the mic, so that just must have been a signal.
No,
I mean,
not for nothing. I'm like, oh boy, he's pulling another.
What's interesting is what happened right then is I put it on Facebook, so I'm wondering if it's causing issues.
Hard to say. Anyway, you're coming through there fine now, Paul. That just was a little bit of minor bottom, but that's okay. It's all good. How do you guys feel about? I mean, obviously our first award show was pretty quick. It was awesome. I really enjoyed the process. What I was going to say prior to finishing up here was that maybe next year, like I said, we'll get on this a little bit earlier so we start getting maybe even a few community votes in there so we can spread things out and make it a little more challenging along with our own votes, and we'd have more titles we could potentially pick from. You know what I mean? If we add like just a couple of prominent people from the community to give a few picks so we diversify some of the things a little bit, because there was a few there where it's just like it made it too obvious. So perhaps next year we'll switch it up a little bit. Yeah. But overall, was everybody pretty happy with, our list of nominees and the award winners?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely made it hard and made it interesting for what was going to win. When you could not vote for your own, you had to pick someone else's. Mm-hmm. So it made it interesting to see what will win.
Yeah, and and I kind of had this chat with Axel last night. Thanks again, Axel, for jumping on to the stream. And he said it was tough for him for sports games because he didn't really play a whole lot. But it's like, you know what? We've all played sports games in the past, and for the most part, most of the sports games don't really differ that much from the previous year. So if you've always probably been, say, a PGA guy, or you've always been a Madden guy, you're probably going to like the new one. So I said in categories like that, you can kind of take a liberty and just kind of vote for your favorite as opposed to something you played, because we're not going to get a chance to play every single game that comes out. It's just near impossible. So a lot of times I think it was okay to vote for at least something that you were excited about. What? Oh, Scrub's what's going on there? I was gonna say he got all dark for a second. It's like he's disappearing into the abyss.
I'll be back. I had some mic problems. Camera problems. I'll be right back.
All good, man. He's just disappearing into the abyss. So any further thoughts on that or what you think we should probably do on the process?
Yes, Steel Rising was robbed. Best game ever that I played this year. But no, that was great. No, I like the whole thing that we did, and I think it'd be really cool for next year if we, actually get more time invested into the preparation of it to also, have some maybe have some like artwork in the background for each game.
True that.
I
also think
especially
if we-
enjoyed
I
seeing
also-
everybody's diversity of the games they all considered the best in their respective category. I mean, yeah, there was a few landslides, but outside of like 2 categories, everybody had unique taste.
I'm very surprised you didn't rant about the multiplayer since Halo Infinite was there. And
I can't cap. I don't think Halo Infinite's multiplayer is that terrible, but there's definitely better multiplayers out there.
Yeah, it had to go on.
I mean,
the
you
award
know
show
that Scrub
since
was
it
going to
didn't
say
make
something
it.
about it.
Well,
I can't cap, man. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't
Well,
hate
Terry,
it. I just
Terry,
don't think
in
it's
all
the best.
fairness, at least on this particular program, Steel Rising was nominated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's one thing I was going to say is maybe next year if we can get some of the nominees out a little bit earlier, then some of us will have a chance to check out some of those games because a lot of it came down to I haven't played any of these other games.
Yeah. Well, that's what we'll hopefully do. I like the date of this award, like 2 weeks into the new year, gives us a little bit of time to digest everything. So I think the timing is okay. But again, we only planned this essentially about a week ago, and like I said, it's a lot more work to compile everything and do it all than it just So yeah, next year hopefully it'll be a much improved version of this award show. But it was a good one to kick us off, and we hope that you guys enjoyed our nominees and our choices. Let's catch up with the chat real quick because we got a lot of people popping in, grabbing their early morning coffee and joining us here. By the way, I guess I should put this out there. I guess it's safe to say at this point, but I guess Dealer Gaming did have some contact with our good friend Assassin Lupa's husband, and she is still with us. She's obviously in recovery mode. I don't know the status, but the good news is she's still here, and hopefully that means she learns or lives to fight another day, as they say. So
yeah, thank God she's okay because I didn't hear anything. So thanks for the update.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so I thought I'd keep you in the loop. I think there's obviously a lot of memory issues and cognitive functions and stuff that have to come around. So like I said, we wish her all the best and hope she recovers, where she can come back and join us again and have a few laughs. So just thought I'd update you guys on that little status.
Same, since we're kind of on that subject, same with Hogue Law. For those who follow like season games and
right.
such, he had a stroke recently and he's in recovery mode for that as well. So.
Well, we wish you all the best, Mr. Rick Hogue. We hope that you get better, man, and get back out there into the podcast scene. Always enjoy your fantastic takes from a legal perspective and otherwise.
I learned a lot.
We're learning a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. We got Casket Repair in the house this morning. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you here. We've got, like I said, the boys from Original Next Level Gaming Podcast in the building this morning. Just trying to catch up here. Emmanuel A1, I think we already read that super chat out, I do believe. I think we did, yeah. Yeah, because he asked for the grounded.
Yeah, we read it. Mm-hmm.
We got Axeman 3008. What's going on, Axeman? We've also got Crispy Rambo. Ice Queen Gaming is in the house. Did I say ice cream?
You did.
Jacob Novak is in the building. What's happening? Crazy Greek Dude is hanging out with us this morning. Our Rob is in the building. And yeah, we got some great people here. So thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you enjoyed that award show.
Like it, share it, get it out there, people. I know more people are awake.
There we go. And yeah, so I guess we'll move into the next small topic here, I guess. Or shall we do the indie spotlight, Terry? I don't know if you're ready yet. I haven't really.
Well, I'm always ready. I have this thing ready to go. I always have it ready to go.
Okay. Well, since we are at about the half-hour mark of the program, which technically is where we normally like to drop the indie spotlight, it's only fair that we highlight Terry's latest indie pick. So go ahead, Terry. I will bring you up on the screen here as soon as I can find it. Here we go.
All right. So since everybody seemed to have been struggling with the sports category for our award show, what better than to put a sports game as the indie spotlight so that maybe somebody will play a sports game. All right. So without further ado, my game pick.
Oh. Wrong one.
He's got it. Okay.
This wrestling? Please be wrestling. Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Retromania Wrestling! That's gotta hurt. Over 15 unique arenas. So many ways to play.
Wow.
I actually have this game. I played it quite a bit.
Choosing from 16 wrestlers from yesterday and today. Wow! 8 wrestlers in the ring at once.
Jesus.
This is way better than any other wrestling.
Who's doing the voiceovers? That's what I want to know.
All right, so there you
Hey,
have
Terry.
it. Retromania Wrestling, this game really took off because it was basically the answer for the fans of wrestling games after the WWE had that horrendous release of their 2K game. What was that? What was that? Like 21 or something? I can't remember which
Talking
one it
about
was.
2K21.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it was 21. Yeah, so WWE 2K21 was such an awful release that we had to leave it to the indie guys to come out and show them how it's done and how to make a wrestling game. All right, so this is what we got, and it's fantastic. It's available on all platforms, so go ahead. You got, if you want to play it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, on your Nintendo Switch, Axel, take it on the go. Play some matches. All right. It has single player. It's got, it does have co-op as well as multiplayer. However, it's local only. They wanted to keep it more of like that old school gaming feel. So there is no online. So that is something that is kind of disappointing because this game would have been amazing with online. But it's, I get it. And then it does come with 3 game modes. It's got like 20 different arenas you can play in, different match types, all the stuff. You got your entrance music, your ring entrances. They went all out to, give you that authentic feel. At the time when the game first came out, they had 17 licensed wrestlers, as you saw in the trailer, and they're going to continue to add more. And the game's been out for a little bit, so I don't know how many more they've added since then. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. Now, do not do what a lot of people do, and they just boot it up and they just start playing, and go in and they skip the story because you're going to get your butt smacked all over the place. Play the story so you can get the tutorial. Play the tutorial! All right? I don't care if you've been playing video games for the last 40 years. You will regret not playing the tutorial. So do it. All right, and have some fun.
You've heard it from CoolcatTerri. Retromania Wrestling, play the tutorial.
Well, and even with the tutorial, some of the match types are really difficult, especially in single player mode. Some of the AI are just vicious. Yeah, they're just.
Oh, and the game is $30. I don't know if I mentioned it. It is $30. So if that's a little steep for you, go ahead and wait for one of the big. We'll have a spring sale coming up, and then the summer sale and all those coming up. So be ready for it.
So in other words, this is the new Elden Ring of wrestling. High difficulty for wrestling.
And no, Jake Paul is not in it. He does show up in a cell every once in a while, but that's different.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's
Yeah, and it's not on Game Pass, and it might not come to Game Pass. I don't know if any of you guys caught my interview, but I actually did an interview.
I was going to say, didn't you interview this person, Noof?
I did, yeah. The owner of the studio, the lead designer. I interviewed him before this game even launched, and he didn't seem to be overly caught up in the whole Game Pass thing. Like, he didn't really say anything negative per se. He kind of tiptoed around the issue a little bit, but it didn't sound like at that time, like he never said never say never, but it didn't sound like he was like, yeah, we're gonna get this in Game Pass. So don't hold your hopes up. Obviously, the game costs a lot of money to make because you had to get your licenses to a lot of these wrestlers and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it was, I guess, dependent on how the game fared. And it does seem like it did fare pretty well, considering it's on the Switch, it's on the Xbox, and it's also on PlayStation. So, like I said, don't cross your fingers, but good little game though. And it is. And he really said that this game was a throwback to his wrestling love, which a lot of us might remember from the arcades, called WWE WrestleFest. So that's why they have that really oversized pixel art graphics, and the animations are very reflective. That's what they wanted to do. Is they call it the unofficial sequel to WrestleFest, and there are some WWE old guys in it. As you can see, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal in there, and there's guys like Tommy Dreamer and
baby.
There's a whole bunch,
what's that guy's name? Zack Ryder was in there. Did you see him?
Zack Ryder's there. Yeah, there's Blue Meanie is in there. There's a few different guys in that game. Yeah.
When they first started teasing the game before it came out, it gave me because one of the first wrestling games I ever played growing up was WWF's WrestleMania on the NES with the honky tonk man. Man, I used to play that game much, so I was excited to see a pixel, like a retro looking wrestling game, because now everything is all about realism, and you have these big studios like 2K that have like amazing teams of people, and they can't seem to figure out how to get grapples to work. So I don't know.
Yeah, I find the new wrestling games much harder to get into than the old days, because they're too focused on being realistic now, and it's all about reversals instead of just
they took out the fun.
Yeah, they took
out the fun. Yeah,
I miss SmackDown
more stuff, right? It was amazing.
At least when THK used to do the WWE game, they at least had
THQ. You mean THQ?
Yeah, forgive me, THQ. When THQ did it, at least they had like the OMG moments and all that stuff. It was fun. And then 2K just took out the fun. They took out the fun, and they added a lot of bugs. That's what they did.
And for me, the big issue was the more modern ones. The control schemes have become ridiculous. You got to push 6 buttons and move the controller this way, and
I don't like having to do a mini game. You got to do a mini game now.
Doesn't it feel like you're playing pretty much Mortal Kombat just to make one combo? Just for one grapple. Up, down, down, B-A.
Yeah.
You used to be able to just throw a guy in the ropes and do something, Now you gotta, do like 10 mini games on the ropes before your guy decides whether or not he wants to pick him up or not. It's
that's why I miss SmackDown. Bring down the house.
No way, man. No way. WWF versus NWO on the N64 is peak.
That was it. That was the GOAT right there. That was the GOAT right there.
GOAT. That was peak wrestling game.
Yeah, they had it nailed back in that N64 or whatever the hell they did. They just need to do those games with the new age graphics, and I think most of us would be happy, right? They all look like big blockheads back in the day. It was hilarious, but those were NWO. Remember that, and then it was WWE WrestleMania 2000
or
and
Raw from the original Xbox Raw.
Stay away from the Acclaim
had a really good story mode on the PS2.
Absolute crap.
That's true.
Yeah. Acclaim's wrestling games are crap. Almost all their games are crap.
Yeah.
Acclaim was the company that just took a license and slapped it on everything. They're part of the reason that licensed games pretty much went in the shitter. Oh, it's not trend. Let's put a crappy game on it and slap a logo. And we're calling it a day. Good old Acclaim.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, that was a good conversation based out of that indie spotlight. That's good. A little bit of wrestling fans up in the building here. That's awesome. So let's talk about one of the good pieces of news that came out of the last week or so, and that is that Xbox is going to honor its fans and have a little bit of a spotlight into this year's biggest titles, or at least a few of them, with an Xbox Direct, which is slated for Wednesday, January the 25th, if my memory serves me correctly. They have kind of stated that Starfield would get its own show down the road, so not too far down. But because Starfield's such a massive game, and I think they want to make sure that all eyes are on perhaps one of their biggest games of the year, and obviously it was our winner of most anticipated for a reason, So they're going to highlight some other games, including one that's looking better and better every time I see it, and that is Redfall. And they talked about a few others as well. I think we may see finally some footage from Forza and what was it, Minecraft Legends, I think it is, and there could be some more. So any takes on this and what you expect to see, and is this a great approach by Microsoft?
Yes.
Go ahead, Axel.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. The developer direct, if my memory serves me right, I gotta find the Twitter. They're gonna focus on 3 titles: Forza Motorsport, which I'm totally hyped about; Redfall, which I'm still not hyped about, but it's an arcade game. I'm never hyped for arcade games, and then I play them, and I'm all in because they combine shooting and abilities so well. Everybody needs to take a page out of their book. And what was the third? Minecraft Legends, I believe, is the third one. And I'm also excited to hear about Minecraft Legends because it almost looks like a tower defense, tower offense kind of game. And if that's the kind of game it is, I'm all in. But if I'm being honest, I've watched that Minecraft Legends trailer several times, and I have no idea what kind of game it is. So I'm very excited to figure out what kind of game it is. Very excited for Forza, and Redfall is neither here nor there for me. Nothing against it, just don't have enough on it yet. So
it's looking so good right now.
I'm personally not a fan of any of those, so whatever they do with it doesn't affect me. I didn't really get into I didn't like the Minecraft Legends at all. That NRG is like the worst thing ever. I just hated it. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Are you talking about Minecraft Legends or Minecraft Dungeons?
Any of them. I don't like any of the Minecraft.
All right, no Minecraft.
Minecraft Dungeons was actually quite good. I just recently played.
Yeah, Dungeons is
no, I hated it.
Dungeons with Minecraft in name only. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, I didn't like them.
Too boxy for you?
It has nothing to do with that. Like I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with the art style for Minecraft. I just didn't like the gameplay of those games. It was not enjoyable for me. I was just bored. And like I had a friend who really liked it, so I was playing it with him, but I just was like, oh, are we done yet? I just hated it. I did not have any fun. Are we done yet? This game is horrible. I didn't like it.
Back to my dating. Are we done yet?
And like in motorsport, I'm not a fan of motorsport. I'm a arcade racer, not a simulation racer, so I couldn't care less about that one either.
Oh my gosh, man! I am so excited for motorsport,
especially
the physics engine. So they changed the point of contact on the tires from 2 points to 8 points. I'm just very excited for it to see. So
Terry's going to be taking the show of the 29th off because she'll have nothing to talk about.
Yep, exactly. And Redfall's another one. I have no interest. I have no interest in Redfall. I don't like the Left 4 Dead kind of style gameplay games, and I really have no interest in anything that has zombies.
They said it's not going to be Left 4 Dead style. It's not.
But it's got like vampires and crap in it. Like that's so interesting.
Far Cry style, Terry.
Still got vampires in it.
They say closer to more Far Cry.
Play it with the Terry.
No, I'm not into that stuff. I don't like vampires or zombies or any of that stuff. They can keep it.
Just mod it and change the vampire to something else.
It's got guns, but it's got the blood suckers.
I wanted to bring something up because it's not a topic as far as I know for today, and I'm not intending to make it kind of get drawn out, but there's a chance because I know some of you are passionate that it might get drawn out. But I wanted to bring it up because I saw it earlier this week that because you guys brought up Starfield, that Starfield actually got delayed for Steam. Do you think that they're going to delay it for consoles as well?
Nope.
It got delayed for Steam.
Yeah, I saw they had delayed it on Steam. So I'm like, if the PC version is getting delayed, that doesn't sound good for console.
I don't know. It might be.
Where did you see that?
I read an article about it. Try to find it again.
No, I don't think so because I think that primarily a large portion of this this game has been built, off the Xbox platform, and I think right now that's might be why is that they're more focused on getting it out where they think their biggest success is going to be, and if it takes a little bit of time to get it out sort of on the PC side of things, I think Microsoft is okay with that.
I'd rather have it like that. Release it on console first, and then do what you gotta do on the PC so it could be better. It should always be like that. I don't know if that's my opinion.
So look at Fastback's message in chat, and I agree with him. Unless it comes straight from Todd Howard's mouth in regard to like Starfield, I don't believe rumors.
Yeah, so they changed it because it used to say that the release date was 2023 on Steam, but they changed it to coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's freaking out that they're changing the release date.
But coming soon
is still. I'll take
it. Coming soon could be just mean sooner than all of 2023. You know.
Look,
how's it sooner than 23 when we're in 23?
Honestly, I would be surprised if they leave the sort of the release date till it actually drops at E3. So they do this big preview up to E3, and then in June they say here's when the game is coming, and it probably comes like by the end of the summer, perhaps.
Nope, it's coming before June 30th. I'm telling you, write it down. It's coming before the end of their fiscal year.
We got it on Paul's authority. We're going to have it before E3.
Actually, before the end of their fiscal year, which is June 30th.
Okay.
So, yeah. Right. I think they'll shadow drop. It's coming in next week. After they show everything.
Well, it's a big game. I think strategically it'd be best to put it out when it's a little slower, because a lot of people are going to be wrapped up in this damn thing for a while.
There's no little slower this year, though. That's the problem. There's no little slower. Yeah.
Yeah, but at some point you got to drop the game. You can't worry about what's in and around it. People will pick the game to play, and if they don't like it, they'll move on to something else, and they'll come back to it. Either which way, it's about getting that game out and getting the sales figures, right? So
you got to do the show so you can do a commercial for Super Bowl or something like that. Xbox has to have a Super Bowl commercial this year, I believe. If you're really serious about pushing the agenda and what you have, they have to have a Super Bowl commercial.
100% agree. Got to put it on the biggest stage, right?
Which will and that Xbox commercial will be in 3 weeks. So
yeah, and Xbox has always been known to have a very tight relationship with the NFL, so that would not be unsurprising to say the least if they had some kind of stuff to show off. And like I said, that's almost around the time that we get to that spotlight. So it's interesting timing right there. I want to talk about one little topic that wasn't in our agenda for today, but I do want to get your take on it. We saw now some recent articles come out to say that the Callisto Protocol has failed to meet sales expectations. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think this spells doom for a potential sequel? What went wrong, if anything? I mean, I see a lot of people playing it. A lot of people seem to be liking it. But what is going on here? Is it because it's a new IP and people were afraid to take a chance? Do you think reviews or the kibosh the game a little bit here? Where do you stand on that, everybody?
Horror's niche.
Well, I think some of these companies are being hyped up by what these other games are doing, and they're trying to measure up and scale. Oh, this game, which is kind of like our game, made this much money, so we should make this amount of money. We put this amount of money into it, so we should generate for our shareholders this amount. And if it doesn't get to that amount or close to it, they automatically deem it a failure, blah, 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 and then they'll shut it down. That has been happening a lot with especially some of the studios that are run by Japanese companies, different things of that nature. Is easily to go, oh, that game did horrible, when everybody loved it. Everybody said it was a good game. And it's just an easy way of folks saying, let's cut our losses. We spent too much money, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think particularly the game went wrong anywhere. I just think that people's expectations on as far as the money side, especially when you count in, you have the cost for the game, and then you have to count in all the advertisement. Like with movies, you say, oh, it costs $500 million to make this movie, but it's $500 million, and it might be $250 million in advertising cost. So if it doesn't make $750 million, you think, well, it cost $500 and it made $600. It was still a loss. So I don't know.
Do you think this could potentially be an oversight as to the new Dead Space remake and how that will do as well? Because maybe this is just a genre that people are reluctant to get into. I mean, we've heard this time and time again that not everybody likes this space sci-fi horror genre, really.
I think I think Dead Space will attract more because of the nostalgia factor. There's a lot more people who want to play that game, who've been praying and wishing for that game to come out. So I think that would automatically have a little bit more of a tailwind for that game than Callisto. So well, we'll just have to see. I just think it's people who are sitting in conference rooms that are not playing any of these games that are saying it's a failure. And that doesn't necessarily means it was with the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is they need to temper their expectations with one, the economic situation just worldwide, and two, especially this year, like I keep saying, it's going to be a crowded game year. Not everybody's going to have the time or the resources to play all these games, so you need to temper your expectations.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at a good example of this is Guardians of the Galaxy, which they say it had a slow launch, which it did. But after the launch, because of word of mouth, people like me played the game, and it really got a lot of play from a lot of people. And it's considered a great success after a slow launch. So, yeah.
Well, not for nothing, but if you give it a thought, let's think about it. From September to December, what big games actually release? So remember, even if it was a small indie like Vampire Survivor, it was a success and a lot of people was playing that. Then after that, you had High on Life also on the same, releasing on the same month. So that actually took away from the Callisto Protocol too. So there's a lot of factors there. Not like they didn't.
Well, and in the case of those two games, if you also add into the fact Game Pass. Okay, so
I was about to say that. Yep, I was about to say that
because I jumped on High on Life and I played the whole thing through pretty much twice, and because it's Game Pass, I have the game. It's not going to cost me $50-$60 to play it.
And that's another thing. I'm very surprised that Callisto Protocol wasn't on Game Pass either. I'm very surprised. So, and also remember we had A Plague's Tale Requiem too. So, and also people was playing Elden Ring, even though it came out really early in March, and they were still playing it. So, they just released it. They just decided probably in the wrong timing.
Yeah.
Well,
I think if anything, this bodes well for Game Pass because I suspect we'll see it sooner than later if it failed to meet expectations. They'll want to recoup their costs.
Right.
It'll likely sit on the table. There seems to be a few indications that I've kind of seen throughout social media and stuff that could state otherwise. We don't know for sure, but we've seen this case before where games kind of stagnate after launch, and then of course it's just like, hey, Microsoft, we need some money here. We got Sir X-Man coming in, our good friend of the show. He comes in with another super chat this morning. I'll get Mr. Axel to read that out, please, and thank you.
Sir X-Man says, I think the $70 price tag is starting to affect games. Absolutely it is.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
So you think games like this that sort of have a bit more of a limited market presence because of the genre that they're in, because they're single player and don't have the legs, so to speak, should be a little more cognizant of their introductory price range?
What are you making fun of people without legs or with legs that don't work? What the heck? We are just as valuable as everybody else. I'm just saying,
No, I definitely think it's a problem. You can see it with some of the indie games or the smaller games. They'll come out there knowing they're quote unquote not worth $70. They'll come out with their game being $40 or $45. And sometimes if you want to get your sales out, you want to move products, sometimes you do have to drop your price because you see a lot of these games end up doing it anyway, come out for $70, and then almost less than a month later, you're in discount bins and they're $45. $40. So it just depends. Some people are going to reach high, and then if you're a company that's really all about the money and the unit sold, yeah, you're never going to not say $70 because you're going to try to max out as much as you want for as long as you can. So I think $70 affects that on some games, but I don't think the $70 price tag is affecting the AAA games, the big product, a lot of money been pushed into this game. But yeah, smaller titles, I do believe $70 will hurt them.
But see, this comes down to a great point, and this is something that I've always been concerned about, and I'm starting to see it more and more in the industry, is that can single player games still be relevant and survive? Because we as gamers, we expect games to be bigger and better with bigger budgets, better graphic fidelity, higher performance. And stuff like this really makes you raise an eyebrow, because it seems like if you look at sales numbers, you look at perceptions, that unless it's a single player story based game that has a Sony label attached to it, everything comes out with sort of that ho hum type of thing, with the exception being something like the Elden Ring, which was one of the that's the exception and not the rule, I guess is what I'm saying. And this is what I had this conversation before, and I don't want to get into it because we could be here for a while, but this is where I'm saying, like, the industry is and it's largely based on what we buy is really sort of dictating that it's free to play, or it's a game that has to have service-based elements to kind of keep people invested. Because if this game doesn't have, if it can't stand the test of time, it's one and done, as we like to say. Like, is there room, especially at these price ranges now, or does this automatically become sort of, well, let's wait for Game Pass? Because I didn't buy the Callisto Protocol. I'm guilty as charged. I do want the game, but it was never like right up on my top of the list. So I'm like, I'll get it when the price is right. If I see a sale, I'll pick it up. Boo on me, I guess, if I'm that guy. But it's just because, again, that's a genre that I've never been overly keen on, right? So, but again, my question just comes back to, are we starting to see where investors now and studios will steer clear of games in this kind of domain because of our buying trends have changed dramatically even since the 360? If you look at our 360 and PS3 era, like, that was riddled and just filled with games that were basically single player only and had no multiplayer elements and didn't even have a whole lot of DLC or gun skins or anything. It was just, you had the game, and if the game did well, you were lucky and you got a little bit of DLC to go along with it, and then boom, there goes your sequel, so on and so forth, right? So is this a point that we should be, at least, I don't want to, create a fear mongering here, but is it something that we do have to be cognizant of?
I have something to say about that. Oh no, go ahead, Terry. Ladies first.
Okay, so my answer to is, when it comes to single player, it's always it's gonna be around. It's not gonna go away, because single player is like the most popular it's ever been when it comes to PC gaming. So it's thrives over there. I could see, if you're looking through the lens of a console gamer, yes, everything has to be multiplayer. That's the stuff that's popular. Yes, the single player games, they sell well, but they sell well at launch, and then like 3 months later, everyone's moved on. They're going back to that multiplayer game, and they're playing that again. But so yeah, I mean, it's not going to go away. I feel like it's just going to be one of those things where single player may possibly become more niche on console, but it's always going to be a huge factor when it comes to PC gaming.
Axel had a huge point in the chat. When it comes to new IPs in particular, man, a good review goes a long way, right? Because it just confirms that spending that money. And Terry, you looked at Steel Rising. Game is an indie, but has that AAA production value, the graphics, and that game is unfortunately probably largely lost in the shuffle out there. I mean, I don't know too many people outside of you who went out and dropped money on this game, and and it's a game that deserves attention. There's a lot of games out there that deserve it, but again, overshadowed again by the free-to-play models and multiplayer stuff. And like I said, God of War and Spider-Man, and those games are automatically going to sell well. But like, you look at even Xbox, whose big single-player thing, or kind of multiplayer, but single player, was like Gears of War, right? you know, and you see companies like Battlefield or EA where they take out the single player aspect of their game and just focus on multiplayer, and it still came out a broken mess, and it's largely ruining the reputation of that franchise. Like, can Battlefield even recover anymore? You know, like I think they made it clear that their investment has got to be on the multiplayer. So you know, we're seeing this trend, even if we don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even, you know, the pricing, it doesn't always have to be a factor either, though, because I mean, yeah, $80 or $70 depending on different versions. Heck, I mean, racing games come out, I end up usually spending $100 because I want to have like the gold version of it, you know. So like it gets expensive, but a lot of these indies that I end up playing and enjoying more than the, you know, AAA, you know, first party games. I usually enjoy my indie little third parties a lot more. They usually have like a $40 to $50 price tag, and people still don't take notice to them. So I mean, it's hard for me when people say, you know, this money's too much, but they still go and they buy those heavily marketed games,
Right.
and then they have great games that have a lower price tag, and they still don't even look at them. So what is it? Is it the price too much, or are you just only care about the games that, you know, get the advertising, and you're not actually doing the work to look for great games that are in your price range? Because it's one or the other. You know, you can't just keep using that excuse.
Yeah, for some people, it's a gaming peer pressure. You know, they're almost afraid to buy a game that doesn't score well because people look at them and go, "Oh, you bought that crappy ass game. What's wrong with you?" You know what I mean? So there's 100 different variables in here, but anyway, like I said, at the end of the day, we speak with their wallet. So you know, you got to buy it or watch those things continue.
See, I believe, like, okay, if we look at I know that if we look at the video games awards, most of them, they're pretty much single player, including Bayonetta. So in other words, their single players are pretty much being made, you know, in the right way. Like A Plague Tale Requiem, then we have God of War, then we have Elden Ring. As much as you're trying to say Elden Ring has its multiplayer, but sometimes you would like to play by, you know, you would like to play by yourself. So Elden Ring is, you know, Elden Ring itself lets you know how important is a single player. Now, the thing is, it all depends on your vision. Do you really think your game is gonna sell well? Because sometimes when you create something, you know, and the story is just crappy, or they'll say, you know what, the story is good, but the gameplay is bad. So it's all about a balance. And like earlier, I do like Pentiment. Not everybody likes Pentiment because it's a small scale, whatever. But the story, I don't like the gameplay because I thought, you know, at least I'm gonna have some type of, you know, combat mechanics there, but there's none. It's just reading. But why do I like it? Is because the story on that game is so engaging. So when you have a game that have a really good story and engage you, that game is gonna sell well. Not all the time, like you guys said, multiplayer is king, because once your internet is out for X problem, or your light is not the light is out, but like some type of storm or whatever the case may be, you're pretty much screwed. So if you know how to treat it correctly, and you have a really good writer and all that, the game will actually prosper. But it's all depend on how you want to treat it. I know, New, you said that's not your type of genre. It is actually mine. But the thing is that you are crowded. You are pretty much crowded, and your results is not what you're going to expect. That's why I say High on Life right now is a single player game. And surely enough, what we heard is the most playable game on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? It's a single player game too. But you know what? If I ask you, why do you like High on Life more than Callisto Protocol? The first thing that I'll say is probably the gameplay or the humor.
Right.
Somebody's gonna say something there, like the humor there is crazy, and they're pretty much engaged in the story. Forget the gameplay. It's just that story. But we already knew that Callisto Protocol is gonna be. It's not that, but I'm gonna call it like that anyway. It's a copy paste of pretty much of what they are really well known, which is Dead Space.
But I got a question for you, and I want everybody to be honest. If High on Life was not on Game Pass and you had to pay $50 for it, would anyone here have played it or bought it?
No, I wouldn't bought it.
I would have waited longer because there's other games I was playing, so I think I would have got it at some point, and it would have been cheaper than 50. It might have been the 30 or the $25 because there's so many games to choose from when it's coming down to your wallet. When you have something that you're already paying for, like a Game Pass, and you have those games in there, it made it interesting. Yeah, it just depends on what the type of games you like to play, and like I was saying, I played it. I hadn't finished it yet, but I enjoyed the game. But it wasn't something I would have jumped on day one, which would affect the initial sales of it. I would have paid for it, but not on the first day.
And if I ask the nurse what were you be playing, the first thing that he's gonna say is Call of Duty. See what I mean? So,
but no, it just depends on what game gets you. Because I play other games. It's Call of Duty. I've been playing Vampire Survivors all week, and that game is 8-bit, fantastic gameplay and just fun. So it just depends on what do you like to do, what your friends playing, what do you see on all those factors come into the game. But when you throw in money as well, sometimes people will make a choice because of money. They will
that is and that's the reason why I think for a couple of podcasts when we were talking podcasts back, we were talking about if it's okay to pay $70, and it was because I think it was that okay. That's the reason why I'm like, don't raise it, because a game really well known called Cyberpunk 2077, another $70, and it came out broken. See, that's the reason why you have to be careful on your pricing. I really don't care if because I know I saw it and I heard it from Michael Pachter when he was like, they're kind of overdue for the industry to raise it to $70. Me, I really don't care if you're overdue. I really don't care, because I know you want to make that money. That's how companies are. But us as a customer, if you are going to release a game and it's broken, really, really broken, you know what? That supposedly overdue is for a reason, for that type of reason. Stop releasing broken games. Simple as that. Yeah. Because we're pretty much being charged from the free to play. We're being charged from the DLC. More than that. So what's next? We're gonna be charged for every keyboard that you're gonna press? Nah. Sorry.
The Jenna raises a great point here with his comment. We're heading into the global recession, hyperinflation. I'll be buying less games than a couple of years ago, and Game Pass will become more important to me and my family than ever before. And that's a great point. And also, this is also a great point again for Game. This is a feather in the cap for Game Pass, because based on the chat and what you guys have already said here, yes, people are enjoying this game, and that's going to be a good thing. At least the developers here, Squanch Games, are getting. Like, let's say they go to make a sequel to this game. The sequel is obviously going to get far more attention now because people have enjoyed it through Game Pass. So there's always a lot of bonuses here, too. I'm not trying to make it like light of, oh my God, you got it. For every negative, there's way more bonuses here, right? And at the end of the day, a game played is a game played, and people enjoying it, and that's what matters, because there's got to be residuals, right? And like I said, this sets itself up for a much more successful sequel down the road. And if that's how you got to do it, if that's how you got to get the eyes on, is by putting yourself in one of the most accessible platforms in gaming, then so be it, but it's, we still raise some great points, all right? And gaming has changed, and our landscape has changed, and our wallets have changed, our spending habits are changing. There's far more choice than ever before. There's far less money than ever before. So it's a weird problem to have, but it's a problem all the same. But I mean, how you spend your money is up to you. And I guess I said we all like what we like. We know what we're willing to spend our $80 on. Like me, I would go probably to the ends of the earth for a Gears of War game. I'm that big of a fan. Like Gears of War is a game that I would literally spend $600 on to go buy a console. PlayStation VR 2 is a great example. It's expensive as hell, and I know it is. But guess what? I'm going to get one because I love VR, and I'm excited for PSVR 2. And I've got mine pre-ordered. God damn it! I'm going to be broke as old shit, but but I'm going to have PSVR 2, and I think it's gonna be the next big step. I think in that. But anyway, I don't want to get off topic. But you see where I'm going with all this, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
People
and-
spend the money that they want to spend it on. Because, like I said, I laugh at some of the people who are mad at the $70 game price when every big game that comes out, they're showing they're buying the Ultimate Edition, the pre-order $100 or the $120.
Those are collectors. Majority of the time, they're collectors.
But a lot of times those collection editions that don't mean crap.
Right.
You don't get it.
But I'm
when,
just
when
saying,
it comes to
some of
racing,
those-
man, you could drop $100 and you're not getting a collector's edition, man. I'm just getting the gold edition.
That one, I agree.
I'm just getting more cars. I'm not
Right,
getting no collector's edition.
right.
That's true.
Yeah. Everybody, hold on. I wasn't finished, but that's cool. I was saying you paying the $100 early edition, blah blah blah, just like you have the Call of Duty edition or the Forza $100, but then you get the ones that are, like I said, $120, $200, $300. You get your God of War edition with all the extra packaging and all that stuff. The people, if you want to spend your money, you're going to spend your money. Like I said, most of the people who will buy a $70 game aren't even buying it for $70. They're usually more than that. So it's just what you like. There's going to be an issue when you're getting a game that, say, High on Life might not be the game for you. So yeah, you're not going to pay $70 or the $40. But if it's something you really love, the next Zelda game come out and you're going to buy it, it's just people. Some of this I don't like to listen to because it's a waste of time, because it's folks arguing on Twitter. Oh, they need to stop making the price this. Okay, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but some of the same people who are complaining the next day are showing how much money they're spending, or look how big my rig is, or look at my game room that I've set up with my wall of this and this, and you've spent all these thousands of dollars, but then you're going to say you moved my game from $60 to $70. Get out of here, man. Come on. Come on.
Bravo.
Well, especially real quick, especially when people forget or don't care that we haven't had a game raise price in over a decade. So hey, get over it,
Bro, did anybody not play the N64 era? We paid way more money back.
I get where Scrub is coming from, but that's when pretty much we were relaxed and they're probably buying the games for us.
I don't want to hear that.
Now, that's when actually reality
I don't
hits.
care.
Listen,
BS.
the bottom line is
That's
here.
BS.
The game, look, they're going to charge us more, but give us more for our money, because, like you're saying, these collector's editions now. Back in the day when you bought a collector's edition, it was a collector's edition. It was limited. It had everything in the box, and now they make 4 different renditions of a collector's edition, like a collector's edition of the collector's edition, which has an extra poster and DLC. It's like just give us the one and give us everything in the damn box, please. Knock this nickel and diming fans and giving us a racing game. Well, the gold edition's got 4 more cars, and the ultimate gold edition has got 52 more cars. Or it has nothing's worse either than playing these racing games now, and you win the car, you get the car, but you still have to earn the car after winning it. What the hell is up with that bullshit?
No, I hate.
Give me the damn car if I'm going to get it. Don't make me have to earn it for the game.
No, I hate skin for $20, just a skin. That's
right. Like these skin prices. Fortnite's perfect example. Okay, here's a great one. Fortnite, right? I didn't want to play the game to begin with. I go out and finally play it. And then, of course, I get roped in like all my buddies. I got to buy the skin because everybody's got all these cool-ass skins, and I got shit. I got this one lame-ass character, and they don't give you nothing in the game. I've been playing for hours, and I got nothing other than, like, emotes and crap that I could care less about, but I want a cool skin. Can't win it, can't get it. I'm like, what the hell? So I go out and I buy
Because
one.
it's designed to make money.
Outrageously priced to begin with. And then, even when I got the skin that I wanted on sale, I was left with this weird little amount of credits that can't buy me shit in the store. So I basically now have to invest more money to get more credits if I want to get something else, because I'm basically left with irrelevant credits that, again, I can't buy anything with it. It's like, okay, you guys got this rigged perfectly. Oh my god!
One thing that makes it more, one thing that Fortnite makes more swallow for me, if what's swallowable for me, is the battle pass cost is not that bad, and once you have one, because you win V-Bucks throughout the battle pass, it pays for itself. You can roll it over into the next season, So, I mean, to me, they do it pretty well. They do it pretty well. Costs like $10 to roll into it.
They're kind of almost like they're kind of baiting you into the battle pass, essentially.
Right.
Same thing with Call of Duty. Same thing with Halo Infinite. It's the same strategic model as the mobile games. If you played Clash of Clans back in the day and you wanted a new cannon or whatever, it costs you this much to pay for whatever coins. Well, those leftover coins, you could not buy anything with them because you didn't have enough. So you had to spend more money. Or they would say, oh yeah, you can raid these 5 times in 30 minutes. Once you finish those 5 raids, you got to wait for 15 minutes. Oh, I don't want to wait. Okay, then pay $1. It's just, they're going to make their money. That's how they do it. Fortnite, it's set up when Epic made this portion of Fortnite, because this is not the original Fortnite.
That's true.
Saves the world. This whole entire game was set up to make money. That's why you can't win anything, because it's set up to make money. That's why kids are draining bank accounts, because their parents don't put the restrictions on their card, because it's designed for you to buy.
Yeah. They want to make money, make us game that is fun, not all grindy.
But what I'm saying is, with Fortnite, because I don't know enough about the other battle passes, but with Fortnite, once you pay the initial $9.50, theoretically you can keep rolling into the next battle pass without paying another penny. So I mean, yes, they
not
have
for
it in the
nothing.
store. They have
you can do that with Call of Duty if you do not spend any of the coins that you make in the battle pass, because you gain coins just like V-Bucks. During that battle pass, you save up enough to get the next battle pass.
Right.
It's just
and Fortnite does that, but in addition to Fortnite, you have also, you gain actually a little bit more than that. You can actually go out and buy a couple hundred coin things after you pay for your battle pass. So,
but
I really like the way Fortnite does it.
But the caveat is you have to be able to invest the time into it. Because if you're someone that's not able to play it all the time, you're never going to earn enough to do it that way. And then
and guess what you end up doing? You spend the money. That it's all to make money. It's a money loop.
Make us fun. Make game for us to have fun. Forget the money thing. And you want the money, make it fun. No, but
that's why you do not run a business.
and that's the reason. Hey, and that's the reason why the guy from Crafton is saying that. Why is it not selling well? There's something. The majority of the complaint that I heard is pretty much the melee.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? One little thing will break the whole thing. So.
Yeah, but I also saw a lot of the same people that were complaining about the melee, especially the multiple enemies thing. They'd come back later and go, you know what? Once I got used to it, it was actually pretty cool.
Because those are masochists.
I mean, they have the same thing in Call of Duty when people run around with the knife. Okay, it's the same thing.
Or they just snipe only. You know what I mean? That's another thing.
Yeah.
Scrub is gonna beat me to it on this one.
Definitely open the old can of worms.
Well, I don't snipe only, because I remember there's several games where I run a gun and I was dropping flies 24/7.
You did show me that. I mean, that's true.
You go to my Twitter feed, you see multiple feeds of me just running around taking photos. So
when I played against Scrub Nurse, most of the time he gets me. He's actually running a gun, and he's not off in some little campy corner just going boop. No, he's out and about. That's a misconception, but he can snipe. The man can snipe too, but yeah, he's not all about the sniping. He can do it well. So, like I said, man, like the games industry and the landscape's definitely changed, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's how and where we spend our money that dictates kind of where things go. And like I said, but anyway,
I wanted to add. I didn't get a chance to chime in. I wanted to just add. I have to rewind a little bit because everybody kind of kept going. I didn't get a chance to chime in. A point that Axel had made earlier about how like new IP shouldn't have like the high dollar sign. I agree with that because they need to create a following first to show that they're a success. Because look at like your big franchises. Like your Resident Evils, your Tomb Raiders, things that already have a success. Star Wars. They can get away with a high price tag because the fans are going to pay whatever price tag it is. They're going to pay it. It doesn't come down to a price tag to them. They're hardcore fans. Just give it to me. All right. Whereas if it's a brand new IP, they don't have that success. They don't have a fan base yet. So they're literally just going off of the pedigree of the studio. And then everyone's like, well, SHADDAI had brought up Cyberpunk. Everybody went off of the fact that the studio had did a great job with The Witcher, so how could they do anything bad? And they went off that pedigree, which is what bit them in the rear end, because that doesn't matter. The game itself was a new thing that they hadn't tackled before, and it had a horrible beginning, and now thankfully they've got it straightened out, but it took over a good 1 or 2 years for them to get that sorted out, and. So I agree. I agree that if it's a brand new IP, they should have a lower price tag, build that following, and then if they make a sequel, then they can go ahead and follow the normal average price of whatever everybody else is marketing the game for. And then the High on Life conversation, I haven't played it. The fact that it's on Game Pass, I'm still not going to play it. All right, it just doesn't appeal to me. So when it comes to like the dollar thing. And I have to go with what Scrub said, that it's going to be, based on what kind of stuff you're into. Whether I'm not going to pay for full price for the game if it wasn't on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass, and I'm still not going to play the game. So it's just because it's on Game Pass doesn't mean I have to play because it's on Game Pass. No, it's literally comes down to what kind of stuff are you into. And I feel like there's like this thing where people, outside of Xbox, they think that if the game's on Game Pass, every Xbox gamer has to play it, and that's not true. Like I pay for my Game Pass, and I honestly haven't played a Game Pass game in like over 6 months because I'm focused on other games right now. And so it's I don't have to play every Game Pass game that's out there. As long as I get at least 2 or 3 games that I was going to buy that ends up on there, it pays for itself, so I'm not losing any money. But I'm not going to play a game that's popular just because everybody else likes it. I'm going to play it because I'm interested in it.
No, well, the movie industry is sort of in the same thing. You got movie executives now and actors coming out and, kind of cursing up their fans because they're not going to support movies in the theater. Well, at the end of the day, movies are getting more expensive too. And if I'm going to go to a movie, it better be a damn good one because there's a lot of crap coming out. There's a lot of stuff that shouldn't even be coming out, in my personal opinion. It's just coming out because they're trying to please this group or that group or some other thing, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like just make a damn good movie. And that's why Top Gun Maverick was so successful, because it's a damn good movie. It was built for the fans. It wasn't really built to make money as much as other movies are. Like, yes, everybody wants to make money, but sometimes when you make something for the right reasons and you make it through passion and you make it quality, then it'll sell. Like, that's the thing. It's just you gotta take that and make a good product first, and then let the sales follow they make. Right?
Take risks.
Make a good product. And SHADDAI, you brought up about again one of the most disturbing trends now. I mean, we've always seen broken games. We've always seen glitches, but they are way more prevalent now than ever before. And the craziest part is a lot of these games even come out with betas and test runs long before they launch, and they still come out launch and they're broken still. And you're like, how? Like, you guys had 3 or 4 months. You've already beta tested the game several times. You did this, you did that, you did something else, and the game's still like filled and riddled with glitches. It's like, sorry to say, but honestly, we're just beta testers nowadays. That's what most of us have become.
Part of that is just the sheer size of the games nowadays. I mean, it really is. I mean, comparatively,
that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, yes. The magnitude of these games, which again is where I say the industry needs to get together and they got to kind of come to some common denominator. But maybe you need to scale things back a little bit. Maybe it's, you don't always have to focus on making a game that's bigger than the last game that needs to have this amount of square footage of land within a game. Like you got to look at I think you should take your statistics and figure out how many hours are your players spending in this world? How far have they technically traveled in these worlds? And then try to find a common denominator that works.
But you know what?
When I'm talking about game size, I'm not just talking about what we see. I'm talking about the code itself.
Oh, yeah.
What tends to happen is some guy will fix one glitch that corrects something in part of the code, but they forget they either don't realize or forget to check how it affects another part of the code, which breaks another part of the game. Mm-hmm. And that's just a matter of, because they're so big, it's hard to keep track of all that. Well, if I change this part of section A, how's it gonna? You didn't think that it's also going to affect what happens in section B.
And that's why you have to test it really. That's why you got to test it.
But you can't really test all that stuff all the time because you don't realize that one little thing in that code is affecting something else that somebody else worked on that you've never seen in another part of the code. So, it's not like reading a book where it just goes from point A it goes from chapter 1 to chapter 23. If you've ever, that's not how coding is done,
Gotcha.
So it's just the bigger they get, it's harder to keep track of all those things.
Okay, we got a few
and sadly, Bethesda's really bad about that.
Axel, go ahead. We got one coming in from our good friend Splendiferous who drops $2.
Splendiferous $2 says $70 is too much, man. Especially if your game is ballsy.
No.
Balls.
Like Newf alluded to, because I remember paying for Pitfall out of pocket, and comparatively, I paid $110 for that game. In 1983 or whatever.
Oh my God! Imagine what the cost of that would be now.
Yeah.
We got another super chat. Splendiferous again, dropping $2. Axel.
Splendiferous says new IPs need to have the demos like Bach in the day, man.
It's supposed to be back in the day.
Yeah. I read it how I see it.
All these new.
But you didn't yell though.
No. Trying to save my mic.
You don't want it more staticky like before. I gotcha.
That's right.
Oh man. Anyway, like I said, it's funny how, like I said, one little topic can take us way off course and down the rabbit hole, but it's a good conversation to have. We're going to have this conversation a billion more times, I'm sure, as long as these podcasts exist, and we're not the only ones out there to have it. So again, at the end of the day, like what you like, play what you play, spend money where you deem it necessary to you. I can't tell you how to spend it, and I can't tell you what's worth your $70. Only you can do that. And if it's a 15-minute game and you think it's worth $70, if it's worth 70 to you, all more power to you. So, that's just the economics of today's world we live in,
Hey, Paul, this is what Stitch said. That is not correct. Every piece of code that gets merged needs to be tested. At least that's how I work, because he's a coder. My buddy's a coder too.
Well, I'm glad your buddy's a coder, but unless your buddy works in a video game that, has hundreds of thousands of lines worth of code, that has different compartmentalized areas.
I said this years ago, and I said this, and you can mark my words, even before I got into podcasting, I would say to my buddies, when Call of Duty first started coming out with those egregiously priced map packs where you were paying like nearly $20 for just
those were awful. Yeah.
Okay. That was back in the 360 days. I said to my friends, I said, this is where it starts. This is where we go sideways, because compared to everybody else's games, their DLC was far more overpriced. And I saw it because it was Call of Duty. I said, it's going to sell regardless, because it's the most popular game going and people will spend it. They could complain about it all day long, but they're still going to spend the money on the game. And I said, you watch, the industry will follow suit on every popular game. Not every game gets away with it, don't mind you, but the popular ones won't get cheaper. They will get more expensive because they know gullible fans will buy into every little thing. And this is, like I said, this is how they bait and click you. Let's give them the free version, and then we're going to rope and dope you with every little piece afterwards.
But you see though, it also is about the fans and the people who buy the games because
Mm-hmm.
the Call of Duty community railed against it so much that they took that away. They stopped doing the map packs. You
Mm-hmm.
went to the battle passes, which were like $10, but you were getting maps added in while you played through the year. So they found other
Yeah, much
ways
better system.
to do it. So if there's enough uproar from the fans, sometimes in some cases you can change.
Yep.
But I also do like how Halo Infinite Battle Pass works because you can keep it and go back, and work on it if you want. So I like that style too.
Right. Okay. Well, let's move the needle forward. We'll get off of this topic.
Splendiferous, stop trying to get me in trouble. Okay, so I will hunt you down.
Mr. Scrubners, what's new on Game Pass? You said you had a few things you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I got a few things that I want to say. Just looking at different things, I just want to let people know what is possibly leaving Game Pass coming up next week. So on the 15th, we have the Anacrucis leaving out. You also have Nobody Saves the World, which I know a couple of people are saying, oh, I love that game. That was a great game to play. Also, Windjammers 2, Paparazzi, and We Happy Few. So those are games that people are talking about. If you hadn't had a chance to check them out, if you want to purchase them and play them later, for a lot of times Game Pass games, when they leave out, before they leave out, you can get a discount on those games, usually up to 20%. And then also, just to give a heads up, coming up soon, the Persona games are getting added to Game Pass. So you have your Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and then also Monster Hunter is coming. And the hot so just check those out if that's something you want to look at. Those are coming to Game Pass. And then
January 19th, by the way. January
that's
19th.
correct, the 19th.
Big drop day.
So that'll come before our next show. So I want to add that in there. And plus, I will be going out of town. My wife is going out of town for work, and then I'm just going to accompany her on the trip so we can do some stuff when she gets off and enjoy ourselves. But during the day, I will have nothing to do. So, which is always good to have the Game Pass Ultimate. So I will have my laptop with me, and there's plenty of games that I can still play. So the game we talked about earlier, High on Life, I'll be able to play that on my laptop and just sit there with my controller and have a good time. There'll be other games on there, Plague's Tale, there's a bunch of them. So if you look on Xbox app, especially if you have Game Pass Ultimate, there's a spot on there where you look at your cloud, your PC, and you can sit there and pull up game after game to play on your PC, on your laptop, because you have Game Pass Ultimate. So I'm gonna play a couple of games, let everybody know, because cloud's getting better and better as the days and weeks and months is going by. So I'll give a little update when I get back on the games I played and which ones are really good. I will try to test out some FPS or some racers. Those are still not the best. You got to have some of the best internet in the world, and even then you'll still have some lag, but it's definitely getting better from what it was back in the day. So I'll just give everybody an update next week on how that went.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Is a look at Game Pass with Scrub Nurse, what's going, what's coming, and everything in between. My God, last night it was so funny because as I'm playing Fortnite, a buddy of my buddy who's in the chat, he just could not believe that I didn't have Game Pass. He kept bringing up all these games. He goes, well, you know what's in Game Pass? And I'm like, I don't have Game Pass. And of course, my good friend who's playing with me, he keeps like, dude, you're talking to the wrong guy. And he just kept going like, you don't have it? Like, what's wrong with you? It was pretty funny. I could only laugh at it. It's like, yeah, I know there's something wrong with me, man, but everybody knew that. My mother knew that the moment I came out the old vag. Oh, sorry. Wrong show.
Wow. Yeah, that show isn't on anymore, dude.
Okay, yeah, but yeah. So maybe before we conclude our show for this morning, Terry, I don't know. I know you're one of the biggest Ubisoft fans on this panel. What is happening over at Ubisoft right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they recently said that they had to cancel, I believe it was 3 unannounced games, which some people are making a stink about that. Honestly, they're unannounced. I don't know what they are. I can't miss what I don't know. So water under the bridge. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't know about the game. The only stuff that I care about is the stuff that has been announced, because now you got my interest peaked, and it's nothing's happening, man. Like, we still haven't heard about Beyond Good and Evil 2. We still haven't heard about Prince of Persia, the remake or remaster. I think it's a remake or whatever the heck that, that's gone, but who knows what's going on with that. But then the big one is Skull and Bones, which is my most anticipated game for this year, and they delayed it for like the 50th time.
And next year.
Thieves is going to have a sequel before that game comes out.
Like literally they announced this game in like 2017 before Sea of Thieves got announced. Yep. And Sea of Thieves has got like 20 freaking seasons already, and Skull and Bones still is, somewhere lost at sea. So,
they are turning like a skeleton slowly.
Terry's over there.
I'm going to be Skull and Bones before this game comes out at this rate. Like, I really want to see this game come out, because I'm a big fan of, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which was the inspiration behind Skull and Bones initially. And then they've done some delays in the past because they wanted to take the gameplay in a different direction to try to appeal to what's mainstream, which kind of sucks. But, that's how things go. And, and Ubisoft has been kind of going on this thing where they want to do more games of a service thing, because they see all the success all their competitors are getting with games with a service. So they're like, we're going to start doing more games with a service instead of, sticking to what we know, which is single player co-op kind of stuff.
That's what I talked about earlier.
So here we go, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of, blowing up in their face right now. They even done some, free to play stuff, which is also blown up in their face, because they're trying to do what everybody else is doing, and it's like, just do what you're good at, man. Just do what you're good at. And
Ubisoft's over there like, hey, if this game fails, we're gonna leave it all on the shoulders of Just Dance 2055 to save our bacon.
Yeah,
but yeah,
even Mario Rabbids didn't do as well as it was supposed to do.
That game is so good. But anyways, but it's just, man, I don't know. I just I'm disappointed because it got because I was like, it's supposed to come out here in March. It was supposed to come out last November, but then it's supposed to come out here in March. And I don't even know when it's coming out, and I want it to come out. I really want to play it.
Yeah.
Like, I pretty much have stopped streaming on Twitch because I had been waiting for Skull and Bones to come out, because that was going to be the big game that I was going to be streaming. And it's like,
the company's name says it all. They're really soft.
So it's just,
Ooh,
I just really want, I really want that game to come out. And they said that they want to put more time on it because they want to make sure it has the best launch, which I respect that. They also are, they're taking a lot of cues from other developers who have dropped games and that had a lot of expectation, and then they fell flat on their face, and they don't want to do the same thing. So I do respect their decision on wanting to make sure this game is well polished, which is something that we keep preaching about. Is don't release broken games. Don't release broken games. Well, they're trying really hard not to release a broken game, but
Assassin's Creed Unity.
but man, it's like that double-edged sword when it comes to gamers, because gamers are spoiled children. I don't care if you're a 50-year-old gamer. We are spoiled children. We want what we want, and we want it now. And we'll tell them we don't want a broken game, but at the same time we'll be mad when they delay it so it's not broken. Like we're never happy. We're never satisfied. And so it's rough. It's rough on the studios because they're trying to, they want to make as much money as possible, and they want to make the fans happy, and they're trying to make everybody happy. And you can't make everybody happy. It's not possible. So they're gonna have to figure out what it is they truly want to do as a business, because they can't do it both ways. It's not gonna work. They're gonna be hurting their company in the long run. Especially and then they've had all the issues in the last couple of years with harassment issues and layoffs, and it's just Ubisoft is in a place right now. But I just really hope they can get this game out this year, and I don't want to wait until 24. I really hope they can get it out this year. Like, I really do. And hopefully it, is, lots of fun to play, and it, is going to be worth the wait. That's all I can hope for, is that it will be worth the wait when it comes out. It's going to, that's like going to be the biggest disappointment if we waited all this time. It finally comes out and it's like, I waited for this, I don't want that to happen. So like, I want to continue putting my faith in Ubisoft, because majority of the games that are not indie that I enjoy the most come from Ubisoft. They always find a way to, make games that I have a lot of fun with gameplay. But man, they need a good kick in the pants right now. But we'll see what happens. It's just, man.
It's like I said, like, companies just, and I said this earlier, companies just need to get back to making a great product and a great game and let it speak for itself, and stop following the industry trend constantly. Sure, you're going to have the odd game here and there that is going to follow very similar models to what the industry is doing, because yes, you want that brand, you want that bread earner, you need that game, and that's what everybody's searching for. They're searching for the lightning in the bottle. They're all searching for their own version of Fortnite. They're all searching for their own version of Call of Duty, so they can pad their wallets while other games have their hits and misses, and that's fine. That's why there is room in the industry for different types of products, and nobody's complaining. But at the end of the day too, like, you can't take a game that's essentially designed to be, say, like a single player focused game that's made for this group of people, and then try to make it everything to everybody. And that's where you start going wrong. Well, it needs to have this in the game because people like to collect things, and it needs to have a level cap because people want to feel challenged by higher level enemies. It's not always like that. Like I said, if Ninja Theory goes out and messes up Hellblade, I swear to God, it's going to be one of the first things that I'm going to look at this industry and say, I'm done. I'm freaking getting out, because the first game had no BS. And that's the reason I loved the first game, because it was no BS. It didn't try to be 5 other types of games. It didn't try to be God of War. It didn't try to be anything other than this great game with a great story, a phenomenal character, with some great mental, visual, and audio imagery. And I hope that the second game is that same game, just a little bigger in scale, and I'm a super happy camper. And thank God, I hope we see something on that game soon, because that's one of my most anticipated. And I would have voted for that one, but I have no clue. Like, we don't even know if it's going to come out in 2023, so that's the only reason I didn't vote for that one in the whole awards thing, because I had to vote on what I know and not what I think is going to happen. So, but I just wanted to put that out there. You see where my point is on that?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm pragmatic. Made a point that I was going to make. The publishers go where they see the trends going, and that's nothing. They do it in TV, they do it in movies. I mean, it's just kind of the way the entertainment industries work, and gaming is an entertainment industry.
But it's coming back to backfire big time on the movie industry right now. That's the funniest part. They're all trying.
It always goes, but it's not the first time it's happened. It always goes through waves. And for the longest time, film noir was big in the 40s and 50s, and then action movies were big in the 80s, and it all what comes around goes around type of thing. It's cyclical in nature. So just as you get old like me, you finally start to see it, and you go, whatever. You like what you like, and there's
man, I know.
There was something else I was going to say. Oh, one good thing came out of all this Ubisoft stuff. They have said that the new Assassin's Creed is going to focus on classic Assassin's Creed. So I'm looking forward to that part.
Because they admitted that the games are getting too big.
Yeah. It was obvious.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's something that, like, for them to admit that, the games are getting too big, that means something, because a lot of these other developers that make these huge open world games, they still won't admit it to themselves that they're too big. So Ubisoft,
Forbidden West was too friggin' big. I don't care what anyone says. I love those games, but that game, I mean, I'm like 60% through, and I'm like, holy crap, just end it already. This is nuts.
And it's only because of side quests, side missions.
Well, so who knows?
You don't need these gigantic maps that basically need warp zones to get through them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when your map is that big that you basically got to go to quick points and save, and then like you basically
it takes away. they'll go through they'll go through and make it to where you have like mounts and things to travel in these games, but you don't even use them because your map's so damn big. All you do is fast travel 100% of the time.
Well, as my background suggests, I restarted The Witcher 3, and the only way fast travel works in Witcher 3 is you have to go to one of the signposts. Well, if you're out in the middle of effing nowhere and there's no signpost close by, you've got to find one first. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, and then
it's like, holy crap.
And someone will kill your damn horse and your stamina meter's running low.
Like, there are some things I'm remembering that I really didn't care for, and that was one of them. It's like, if you let me open the map and say, give me the fast travel option, let it work. Don't tell me at that point I need to go find a signpost somewhere.
I know it's weird. It's weird
also
that we're
about
at the point
game
now where
design
gamers
too.
are asking for companies to kind of go in reverse. It's like, back it up a little bit, guys. Keep things in check. Maybe in 20 years when they have a system designed in a game as well, when they have these engines designed or something for the developers where they can legitimately speed up the level of their production and not lose a whole lot, then maybe we get to that point. But like we see, like many times they're biting off more than we can chew. And I also think that you've got so many game developers now that what we don't take into account is that a lot of developers aren't experienced enough. They don't always have the same guys. Like we see this all the time with studios, right? Where they lose a lot of people, and basically, it's a studio name, but you still got to count. And we know this in any industry that people with experience are often way better than people with degrees. Like you can have all this knowledge, but if you haven't built something before, it's a slower process. But when you've already been there and done that and used that engine, that's why guys who do Unreal Engine are much faster, because they've been playing with the same damn thing for God knows how long. It just keeps getting improved, and they learn those tools. And we're seeing this all the time. We see all these that haven't used the tools enough, and this one's learning. And you got these 20-somethings coming into the industry that are just cutting their teeth on gaming too. Like we can't assume that everybody in a studio has got 20 years of experience, right? And knows how to build this thing or knows how to deal with the problems. And then, of course, like I said, you just got to still throw COVID in. And I suspect for the next 2 years, even, we're still going to see a lot of studios sort of coming out of that COVID backlog where they're still trying to catch up with work that didn't get done or work that got messed up and never got fixed and so on and so forth. But I don't want to keep going on. I just wish everybody that's building games all the best, because at the end of the day, we just want games, and we want great games, and great games take time.
And I just want to add, I have to have hope that since Ubisoft was the first major publisher to come out and say the games are getting too big, that if they start downscaling the games and it ends up being a great success to them, hopefully they will be the trendsetter then, because they like to chase trends. They will become the trendsetter to where everybody else will start trying to dial back as well and focus more on story and gameplay and less on making your map as big as possible to where you have to explore things that don't need to be explored. All right, so just it could be a good thing. I hope it works out and it does well.
Make it meaningful, right, Terry?
Yes, like I like to explore. Like I'm a completionist when it comes to my RPGs, but lately most of these RPGs, there's no point being a completionist because it's just a waste of time. Like they don't make it fulfilling to do these things.
Yeah, a lot of times like you'll get this big quest that takes you half an hour, and you only get like something really minuscule at the end of the day. Like you probably didn't even really need to advance the story. It becomes more of a collectathon thing. Like, oh, well, I got this new piece to add to my rifle by helping this guy who's had a severed leg, and now I got to go find his body part somewhere or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like you get this silliness, and again, it's funny. I get sidetracked easily because I like to do I don't like to leave too much out. And I also like to go into those final fights where I'm a little bit more overpowered. So I know that if I get a tough boss, I got a better chance than going in with basically just the required level to kind of go toe to toe. You know what I mean? So
I view the required level thing the same as I view like minimum specs for a PC for a game. I'm like, Yeah, let's take that and to like triple it, and then we'll talk. You know,
Yeah, there you go. That's Paul. Goes up against a 20 level boss. He's like 52. You're gonna eat it now, buddy.
Hey, and sometimes it's still difficult. You know, so you know.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah, great conversation this morning. Yeah. Anybody else have any further thoughts? Actually, you've been particularly quiet this morning. I don't know. It's just because we haven't kind of pointed the finger in your direction, or you just don't have much to say, or what? And
No,
Scrubs,
I mean,
I know you still got to get out of here.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further thoughts from anybody
Yeah.
on anything or any
Yeah.
topics that you feel we should discuss this week? We got a few more minutes to kill before we close the show. Otherwise, we will let everybody get out of here and enjoy their Sundays. And by the way, and I hope this is something we see more of, and that is community game nights with panels. And I would love to get a community game night going with this particular panel. If we can all find a couple of good games to agree on, I think that would be awesome. And I think the people that like this show would definitely be interested in joining us to have, a little fun. So,
Yep,
We
I've
just
been
have to
part
find
of
the
other
right day
panels
and
that
the
have done
time.
that. Yeah, and I'm afraid to play Call of Duty on the same team as as a scrub nurse over there. He'd be cussing me out by the end of the round. What the hell are you doing?
Well, we might have to avoid Call of Duty. We might have to find something that I think Terry would like to play.
Well, me and Paul have played Halo in
Yeah,
the
we
same
played
team,
together,
and I've
yeah.
never cussed him out about that. We've had good times in one.
Yeah, we do. I'm
We-
just giving him crap.
still-
Terry, I'm
Yeah.
getting the feeling that if you had to pick between Call of Duty and Halo, you'd rather play Call of Duty. Am I right?
Titanfall.
I wouldn't play either one of them, honestly.
Wow.
Okay, well, what we got to find, that's the thing. We'll have to throw a couple of games out there in our list, and then we'll try to pick like something from everybody's list that we can play, even if we absolutely suck at them. So that would be kind of fun. But anyway, I think people
Probably anything RPG related. Watch.
Happy Cloud Gamer says he would love to play games with us all. And I think that's great. I think it's a great way to interact with people that come out and enjoy our show too, and get to know us on another side where we're actually invested in a virtual environment.
Yeah, that definitely good. It'd be some fun times.
Yeah, because some of us have also played virtual reality games together as well. You know, some of us.
That's what I'd be down for. Let's play some walkabout mini golf together.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be even cool, even if you got some of those co-op modes. Co-op modes that people like can be fun too. Even some, remember those old Splinter Cell stuff like Spies versus Mercs and all that sort of stuff. That was cool, right? Some of those game modes. By the way, did I have to ask you guys because I've been in a lot of touch here? Did the Resident Evil mode actually come out? Remember Village? You were supposed to get that. What was it? Resident Evil. It was like a multiplayer mode. It was supposed to come. Did it ever come out? Or am I just completely oblivious here?
Yeah, I don't think it.
I have it
I don't
reversed.
remember
Isn't it called
hearing
reversed?
anything.
And they said it was
I haven't
delayed,
heard
and it was.
anything.
Oh
supposed to come
yeah,
out
but
in the summer.
that's in Resident Evil 3 remake. That's a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis
No,
remake.
there's a multiplayer mode that I got when I bought Village, and it got delayed, and it still hasn't come out to my knowledge.
Yeah, I hadn't heard any. I have Village, but I hadn't heard anything about it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Resident Evil Reverse, and I literally have it sitting on my hard drive. And if you go to boot it up, of course, it just says coming soon or something. That's it. But I have this game. It's like, what the hell's going on here? You guys making this or what? You sold
Probably
it with
because
the
of
game.
that Resident Evil 4 remake. Probably.
I don't know. Weird. It's weird. Maybe they're hoping everybody just forgot about it because apparently we all did. Weird shit, eh? But anyway, great show today, everybody. Let's let everybody get out of here and do their outros. We will start with by order of appearance on my main screen. So we're going to start with Mr. Axel 1324. Let people know where they can catch you, Axel.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. You can catch more of me over on my YouTube channel, Axel1324 Gaming. I am the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to join me and Doggy Dog and a few guests right now every Friday night where we just talk about some games. I think this week was rather enjoyable because me and Doggy got to vent. So be sure to tune into that. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Xbox, Axel1324, just how you see it spelled right here.
Alrighty. Getting over to Mr. Scrubnurse. Where can people catch up with you next?
You can definitely find me on Twitter at ScrubNurse3. And I'll have all my stuff up there, like my Twitch and different things of that nature. We're always here on Sunday mornings, but then you can also find me later on in the evenings at Gaming Beyond the Box. We are back on Sundays, and we start at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and which is good, especially you don't have to worry about missing out on anything tonight when you watch us, because we will definitely be done before The Last of Us starts on HBO tonight. So I just want to let everybody know that. Also, if you are looking forward to that show, it's on HBO tonight. So that's going to be a good night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. So we'll see how good it is, if it's going to be bad, if everybody's going to be mad, if everybody's going to be doing cartwheels. It should be interesting. But thank everybody for coming out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share all this stuff out. Love talking with the gang and the crew, and then also having you all in the chat. It's always a good time. And yeah, you can find me on Xbox at Scrub Space Nurse, kind of like you see right over here on Xbox. And yeah, I love to play some games.
You're a space nurse? Wow, wow, that's cool.
Yep.
And heading over to one of our busiest podcast panel members, Mr. CerebralPaul. Let people know what's happening for you next.
Let's see. First, I want to say, yes, Scrub show tonight will be over before The Last of Us 2, because Wilmy will cut them off if it's not. Okay, it'll just go dead. It will just go dead. It'll be over. So yeah, you can find me here every Sunday, of course, and you can find me on Mondays on the Xbox Ambassador channel doing Gaming Differently with CerebralPaul at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll let you do the math for the rest of it. Then on Thursdays, you can find me on G4 4GQ TV. I really wish we had a different name for that sometimes. Get that out.
True, I always have trouble with that one.
And I, of course, and then I have some interviews coming up. Actually, I have one lined up that I'm going to be doing next week with the writer, producer, director of Scare Package and Scare Package 2, which is on the Shudder channel if you're into horror movies. So that's going to be fun. And then let's see, what else is there? That's about it. I got some other stuff lined up, and it'll be coming up later. So yeah, it'll be fun. And I might be on what's it called? NLG this week too, because there's a topic I want to talk about that I couldn't talk about here because it's not Xbox related, and it's not exactly positive, but it needs discussing. So yeah, so keep an eye on that as well. Watch me on my Twitter feed as CerebralPaul1.
There you go. Eternal SHADDAI, when you're able to escape Cell Block 22, what you got happening?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank everybody that took time to watch us, do the podcast. So we will see you next weekend. But people can find me writing this name over here. If you write this on Twitter and on the Xbox console, you'll find me. Also, I'll be streaming on Twitch at ETESHADDAI, just in case why I say ETE. Abbreviated for Eternal, since it doesn't want to fit, it doesn't want to fit. But I'll be streaming The Sinking City lately. Very, very unique game, interesting game. Other than that, I'll see you next weekend.
Absolutely. And last but definitely not least, CoolcatTerri, what you got coming up, girl?
All right, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you guys for coming in once again. And you can always go and check out whatever I have going on over on my Twitter, which is Coolcat_Terri, or you can go see what's going on in real life with me over on my Instagram, CoolcatTerri, like you see here on the screen, as well as when I go back to Twitch, whenever Ubisoft releases a damn game, you'll see me on Twitch, CoolcatTerri, and or go ahead and watch my YouTube, Coolcat's Alley. It's all automotive stuff. I've been working on my project car, so that's what I've been pretty much focused on right now, is doing that. I just did a valve cover gasket replacement, so if you guys are into cars, it's the real deal over there. Go check it out, and that's pretty much what's going on.
Can you change my windshield wipers?
She talks about games, and she got rants so hot they go down in flames. Guys, check her out, CoolcatTerri. Fantastic panel. Love these guys amazingly. It's always good to hang out with them on a Sunday. You know where to find me. Pretty much always in the gutter, but I'm not hanging out here with these cool cats and critters over here on this particular panel. You can find me now on Tuesday nights. There's no more Gaming After Dark, if you haven't heard already. Put that one to bed for at least the time being. But I will be streaming regularly on Tuesday nights. I had a phenomenal stream this past Tuesday. Did some Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and it was a pretty good turnout. I was really shocked. And again, I thank everybody that was able to come out and make it, whether it's for a minute or you stayed for the whole stream. I had lots of positive feedback on that, and look forward to doing more streams in the future. Most of them are going to be on YouTube. Because my channel's got a little bit more presence there, but I do want to get into a little bit more Twitch streaming as well. So just keep an eye out. I'll keep you posted. As for, like I said, a Good Morning Xbox community game night, we're going to work on that here shortly. We're going to come up with some ideas and some games, and hopefully we can get the panel together on the same day and the same time to have some fun with everybody that hangs out with us. And who knows where we'll go from that. But outside of that, guys, another phenomenal show. We hope that you enjoyed our first ever Good Morning Xbox Game Awards. Congratulations to all the nominees and mostly to the winners as well. They're all winners in our books. There was no bad games. Everybody had some great stuff. And we'll be back here again next. Do you have something to say, Scrub?
No. That was just my golf clap for all the winners.
Okay, I got you. Okay, man. I kept multiple screens coming. I could only catch part of your fingers, and I kind of looked like you were holding a finger up, kind of like, "Hey, I got something to say here." But all right. But anyways, another great show. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. And to the chat, you guys are absolutely amazing. We try our best to acknowledge each and every one of you because you do mean a lot to us, and it's a trend that I started, and I always hope to keep going. Axel does a great job of it as well with his podcast, just making sure we acknowledge the people that spend time with us, like Jago Kukin and Casket Repair, and a whole lot of you guys in this building this morning. We saw Sir X-Man hanging out with us. Dizzy Delta's been here as well. Happy Cloud Gamer, Fastback, HTK, Pragmatic Eagle, Crispy Rambo, Jacob Novak, and the list goes on. Guys, you are amazing. Lemon was in the building this morning. Good to see Lemon here. Always brings a lot of energy and entertainment wherever he goes. You guys are fantastic. So thank you again for your support. We look forward again to seeing you next week. But until then, it's time to say so long until next time.
Bye, everybody.